I couldn't find me button. I couldn't find me button. Right. Let's give this a lucky and a go from there. So, first section is overwhelming fire. I believe we had that game mode with the machine gun tanks. So let's give this a go. I'm gonna activate the camera. This one. Let's add this in. Oh my god, I'm fucking huge. There we go. Let's add this in, and we can go from there. Right, probably gonna need to turn this down a bit because you're probably gonna get deafened. So let's do this. Why can I not hear anything? Don't be fucking funny. There we go. Oh, really? Yeah, no. Oh.
I know it's summer, I know it's very, very hot, but nevertheless, we are putting a lot of effort into developing your favorite.
Let's do this then.
Overwhelming Fire is intended to be a fun mode and all about what if. It's about experimentation and crazy ideas at its very core. Such as, what if there was an autocannon arty?
Okay. So as soon as I heard this bit about there being an autocannon arty, my initial thought was, I can't wait to go and make people rage quit, because everybody hates artillery, because everybody is a fucking 2-year-old, but everybody hates artillery. So to have an auto loading kind of like barrage arty in the game, I think I'm going to be having a lot of fun playing that tank alone. Probably end up playing that tank more than the other tanks, so long as the other aspects of it aren't rubbish. So let's see what else can we expect from the proved overwhelming fire.
While yes, it will feature autocannons, we intend for this mode to be more of an enhancement to our usual fun events, finding new and fancy ways we can experiment and play with new mechanics and weird tank combinations, like this abomination, the autocannon arty.
Like the abomination, the autocannon arty. Iggy is so far up his fucking ass, he wouldn't know what an abomination is if it was right there in front of him. He's trying to take sides. He knows most of the community hates artillery. So what's the best way of making people excited for this game and looking forward to this game? Take their side. Take the common side. Be a sheep, basically. If you haven't guessed, I do hate Cricket Baby, but I also hate Ikeboo. So, can you do?
For the event, you will be able to drive and experiment with 8 different vehicles. We will have all.
Okay, so let's have a quick look at the different vehicles that you'll be able to play in this mode. So we've got an EBR with a, I'm guessing it's an EBR with a machine gun. I mean, that seems to be a common trend with these tanks. Is it seems to be tanks with like a machine gun or rapid fire kind of aspect. So I'm guessing we're gonna have a machine gun EBR 105. Yeah, sure. You know, bring a tank into the game that everybody fucking hates anyway. Okay, fine. What else have we got?
All sorts of cannon.
Oh god. They've brought in a BZ-176, but took out its derp gun and replaced it with a 4-cannon fucking machine gun. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'll cope with it.
And gun types for all. Each.
Okay, so in the last one, we already had this tank. It was the Sheridan with the Gatling gun. So we kind of already know how this tank is going to play out. The first two, they are completely new tanks. This one we've already seen, so don't really want to get into it because we already know what it's like.
With their own.
This one I believe is the new one. So this looks like a TVP. Or some sort of Skoda. It's a Czech medium tank with a 2-shot gun, so using the double barrel mechanics. Interesting. Okay. But again, I think this is another one that's new to the game mode, because I think on the previous game mode we only had 4 tanks. So okay.
Interface and cool visual.
There's the eye. So what have we got here? We have a 12, or at least a 12 barrel RT. I will say, on the looks department, I don't know whether I like it or not. But I am excited of I want to see how you can use these. I think we saw previously that it looks like you'd be firing one salvo of 6, and then you have an interclip, and then you fire another salvo of 6. But it'd be nice if you could fire them off one at a time, like a normal artillery, or choose where you just fire, you click once, and it just fires all 6 cannons in one go, rather than firing it in a barrage way. So, but by looks of things, it's going to be, you know, a barrage from the left side, barrage from the right side, and then a massive reload, I would imagine. Because it's the only way that you could balance having a gun like this tank.
Effects, which means you have.
So this one again we already had in the previous version of Overwhelming Fire, so don't need to go into it
Ask
again.
yourself just one question:
as we have with the mouse. So,
do I feel lucky?
this one I think is another new one. I don't think we had a Jagdpanzer E100. But again, it looks like it's another one that's like the Sheridan and has the Gatling style gun. So yeah. So as far as the tanks go,
and before any of you start getting overexcited,
yeah, as you can see, it's a Gatling style.
Fun and experimental only, not a precursor or plan for future tank release and designs for the life cycle.
Okay, so they're saying that the tanks and the mechanics that they're putting into this game are just literally for fun, and they have no intention on influencing or being introduced into normal world of tanks. I am going to call bullshit to this, because you can guarantee that Wargaming will take the parts that are successful in this game mode and then introduce it into normal random battles in the future. You just know that is going to happen, because this is what Wargaming does. So when he says that these are just for fun and not going to go into wargame and not going to go into Madden battles, I do not believe that for a second. I am ready to be fucking proved wrong, but so far everything I've said about wargaming, they've just proved me right. So we'll see.
Server. Sorry to ruin your dreams of role-playing as an A10 Warthog on tracks.
Okay, so what is next? We have the almighty Rough and Traga event. This is the one game mode that I am actually looking forward to. In fact, there's 2 game modes coming out this year. Another one that will be discussed on the next section of the video, so I'm not going to go and spoil it in case you haven't seen the video and don't know what's coming. But this is one of the 2 game modes happening this year that I am looking forward to. This mode especially. If you're on a cafe, if you're in response to, if you're replying in response to the Tritamral thing, no, it wasn't that funny. It wasn't that funny. But yes, so we're gonna get into the Rough and Traga event, the one of 2 game modes happening this year that I am looking forward to happening. So let's see what they have to say about the Rough and Traga event and if there's any changes that they are proposing.
Ready for the awesome Waffentracker game mode. It's crazy, chaotic, and a fun experience. Ermelinda is back, and she's all set to create mayhem on the battlefield. You might already know her, but if not, you'll quickly get to know this infamous driver and her legendary tank.
So Ermelinda is back again for this year's Rough and Traga event. Okay, so it's going to be, I'm guessing, continuing on the story and continuing on her father's legacy. What's his name? Max von Trier, or whatever it's called. So, okay, so we have Ermelinda again. Are we going to be able to earn Ermelinda as a unique crew member like we did with the previous season, the previous year? It'd be nice. It'd be nice to actually have another one of these commanders, because at the moment she currently drives my chieftain prototype. So let's have a look.
Say hello to Hannelore, Ermelinda's older sister, who has now joined the Alliance. With a new ally, the Alliance also has a new commander, Jana, to aid the fight against the machinations of Maximilian Leonhard von Krieger Witthofen Baron zu Liedenberg.
Okay, so we have a new Harrier. We have a new tank, which we saw briefly there, which is looking very much like a Skoda T56. Skoda T56. It's one of the Skodas anyway. I'm guessing by the looks of things, it looks like a tier 9 Skoda. Okay. So will this have an autoloader? Will this use some of the traits from the tech tree counterpart, where it's fast firing autoloaders, fast interclips and a fairly fast complete reloading? I think this is actually going to be quite fun to drive, even though I think a lot of people will carry on using the T55A, because that is one of the best tanks to be using for this game mode. It has the best of everything. It's it's not the what's the term? I've forgotten what the bloody term is. Jack of all trades, master of none, kind of thing. But it'll be, if this ends up being just as effective as a T55A, I might start using this tank more over T55A. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what that tank's like, and hopefully closer to time we'll get more details about that tank. But for now, T55A is the best tank to use for this event.
Fast for our experienced players, but with new exciting twists and updates to keep things fresh. And if you're a newer player, get ready for some wild and enjoyable mayhem in this mode.
Okay, so they're going to revamp the mode a little bit, so cool. Now comes on to, and unfortunately I didn't pause it quick enough, now we come on to the second event of the year that I'm looking forward to. It's back, because for some reason Wargaming forgot about it last year. One of the most popular events that Wargaming have ever produced, other than often try again, only 13. And it is back this year. And it comes with some interesting twists and updates. So I'm not going to talk much through this section of Murny 13. I'm just going to let this section kind of play out, and then we'll give a summarized view afterwards, because I think some of the changes that they've done, it keeps the classic Murny 13 kind of feel, but kind of I was going to say modernized, but kind of, you know, updated to feel a little bit different, whilst also feeling familiar. So, take this section.
We've heard your requests and we're thrilled to announce the return of Murny 13, a highly anticipated game mode. This upcoming episode will serve as the epic conclusion to the currently planned trilogy. However, the future of the town of Murny remains uncertain. The mode will have new enemies and bosses this year. Like in previous years, they will be mobile, agile, and hostile. They will be cunning and full of menace. The Immortal, with its amazing soundtrack, will make a return, but it's got some backup this year, with a different boss for players to face at each of the 3 different difficulty levels. I can't share their official names yet. You can say hello to Rob and Fluffy. Find them a little less intimidating with these names, and perhaps you want to drop a comment down below and give us your nickname for these beautiful new creations. The plan is that these different bosses at different levels will keep the gameplay challenging but not repetitive as you develop your skills and tactics playing the mode. Remember, the key to success is to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge those enemies. We're also going to introduce new mechanics that will allow you to deal with these dynamic and dangerous moments, like the ability to become invisible to the enemy or improve your reload speed. Let's hope for a nice conclusion to the story arc for our characters. But again, you never know. It's not the first time we've been surprised by the Immortal.
So let's quickly go over some of the changes coming to Murny 13. So as Ikabu quite clearly pointed out, this could be the last Murny 13 event that Wargaming do. He did try to make it sound like that Wargaming were unsure whether they'll bring this back, but I think we should just assume that this is going to be the last time we'll get to play Murny 13. They may bring it back in some altered version, maybe Murny 14 or something. I don't know. But this could be the last time we get to play Murny 13. So if you've never played Murny 13 before, now is the time to actually play it this year, because you may not ever get the opportunity to play one of the best game modes that will ever. Ikabu also went on to say about the new tank, the new mini bosses, the new boss tanks that they have. So it looks like we've got a few new introductions here. So we've got the usual kind of tanks that normally in the game mode, including the little hedgehogs. But it looks like we now have a big hedgehog, which is I think is new. I don't think that was in the last one. I don't know, it's been over a year. So it looks like we've got a new kind of enemy type. So I'm guessing killing this spawn loads of others. I can't remember whether the bigger hedgehog was in the last Mourning event or not. Can't remember. But we have three bosses for each of the difficulty levels. So I would guess for difficulty 1 you go against the Immortal, I would imagine. So everybody gets to face against the Immortal, the OP, the OG boss. So the Immortal. But we also have a new type which is also like an M60. So we have an M60 with the same double gum type, so I'm guessing it probably would be a little bit quicker, maybe. I mean, I think the M60 is quicker than the Panzer one. So that is got to be. So I'm guessing this would be medium difficulty, and the opponent would be a little bit heavy, a bit more faster and able to keep a bit better with you. And then finally we go on to one of the funkiest looking tanks I have ever seen. Look at that. So I'm immediately getting Russian vibes from the style of the turret, but I'm also getting kind of Churchill vibes with the extended tracks that kind of go out above the, in front of the hole. Oops, sorry. This has to be hard difficult. Look at the angling. Look at how menacing this tank actually looks. It's, you know, I reckon this is the boss that you'd be facing on hard difficulty. That is my opinion. I reckon you have the Immortal at easy, you have this M60 at medium, and then you have this weird Russian based kind of styled tank on the hard difficulty. So maybe this has the same ability as the Immortal, but maybe it has you know, thicker armor. We don't know. We'll find out closer to the time. This is probably going to be this year's Halloween event, to be honest. Which is odd because WoT Rough is usually the Halloween event, so this is going to be around the same time as WoT. So this is probably going to be October, November time. We'll see Moni 13 and WoT. Okay, so next thing that we are going on to is random battles. Okay.
The Immortal.
So I say random battles, it's actually random events. So the one feature that they recently brought to the game and was in the test server and was also in the recon mission on the live climb, random events. I have to say, I enjoy the random events, and looking at the changes that they've done to these events, they look good. So let's have a look to see what they're doing with random events. So and we shall go from there. Let's actually get to the bit where it's actually talking about the random events, and there we go.
The objects and effects of random events will be more detailed and spectacular than they were in Recon Mission. In some places, they will substantially change the map landscape, and here you can see the difference in the events on Himmelsdorf. The event zone will be significantly improved visually, and instead of the red line, there will be red fog, which indicates a dangerous zone. The event.
Okay, so the changes are going from like a red outline, a red border, going to a red fog, like a signal flare. I think that's a good change, because when the red box, previously when we tested this, you had a red box and you just knew, right, stay out of that red box. you know, and everybody stayed out of that red box. I think this changing it from a red box as the case of do not enter this zone, this no man's land, change it to a fog. You don't know where the boundaries are going to be, at least at first. I mean, once you've been playing these random events for a few times, you're going to start learning where the boundaries are for the all the buildings clashing, the planes crashing, and all that kind of stuff. You're going to very quickly learn where is safe and where is not safe when these events happen. But I think this is a good change and is more fitting with the game than having the previous just a red border, red kind of area.
Event zone will be changed as well, with the vehicles inside the zone destroyed only if they interact with the big main object, like if...
So that is a big change. So previously, if you was caught in that zone when the event happened, you die instantly. That's not going to happen anymore. Instead, you only die if a building or plane or something lands on top of you, which is more realistic and it's actually better, to be honest. Because if you're, say, in the red zone and the event happens, but nothing happens around you, you know, you just so happen to be in an area that is untouched, why would you die? You know, it doesn't make any sense. This now makes more fitting sense, and I think this is actually a really good change to game mode, because it means that even if you don't get out of the area or you haven't learned where the areas are, so long as you're aware where the building's not falling down, you're not going to get yourself killed. I like that.
If an object crashes directly on top of your tank. If an object or its debris falls near your tank, the tank won't be damaged. This means you will have a chance to survive if you don't leave the zone in time.
And by the looks of things as well, if you get caught, look here, it appears that the bubble actually goes over your tank. Now, whether that is actually going to be fitting for every single tank in the game, or whether it's just going to replace it with a separate kind of model, I'm hoping that if the building falls down on top of you, so you die, I'm hoping that it is your tank that you see poking out under the bubble, like you can see here. So I hope that is something that is dynamic and not just gonna put a random tank model. Yeah.
Leave the zone in time. The way the event also triggers during the battle has been refined, and based on the testing and feedback, we hope that this should make the event occurrence more dynamic and not obstructive.
Okay, so they've changed the triggers for the event and how the event triggers. Now, we still don't know what's going to trigger the event. Now, previously, the events were guaranteed to be triggered at a certain, well, not a certain, but they were guaranteed to be triggered within the first, 2 minutes of the battle's time, because obviously they wanted people to test them and get their feedback, and there's no point putting people into a game having the event start 10 minutes, after 10 minutes when the battle finishes in 4. There's no point. So I think the changes that they've done in regards to what triggers them is probably good. But we still don't know what triggers them. But it does look like it's going to be. We're looking mid to end game, possibly. Okay, so map improvements. So there are definitely a few maps in the game that definitely need to be improved. And I'm glad that they are actually planning on improving some of the maps going forward. So let's have a look what maps they are improving and the changes they have done to those maps.
We have a lot of staff and resources currently invested in working on our new
Mountain Pass will see the biggest changes. The heavy.
Okay, so Mountain Pass is going to see the biggest changes. Okay, fair enough. I mean, Mountain Pass is a fucking terrible map. Do not like it, and it definitely needs improvement. So I'm happy that it's receiving the most amount of updates. So let's have a look. So this is obviously that heavy tank corner down from the north side. So the north side is going to be up here, and this is obviously down from the south side. So let's see what changes they have done to this bit. So this is before, where everybody just kind of camps on the hill up here, or all the heavies kind of camp here, and then it's just, you know, shooting back and forwards. What have they done to try and prevent that, or at least reduce the chance of that? Let's have a look.
The tank encounter zone will be expanded with.
Okay, so it looks like we've got a little bit more sticky out cover here. So obviously still going to get heavies coming down to this corner, and this is still going to be quite heavy. But we've got additional walls placed here, and here. I don't know quite how deep this channel is, whether you could use this as kind of to get hold down or not. I doubt you can, but they've added more cover here. So it looks like they've removed some of the cover that was placed back here, and they've kind of split it out down to the middle and up here, and as I'll see some more solid cover on top of this hill.
Both balconies on the dominating heights reworked.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's additional cover here. So this little sticky out bit here isn't here anymore. It's now moved into the middle, and it's kind of actually been switched to the other side. I have to say, I like those changes. It gives you a little bit more extra cover, so you can come down without being shot by these guys here, and I'm guessing it's the same on the other side.
Several new pieces of cover will also be added.
Yeah, so you get additional cover here. So if there are any heavies here, then it gives you the opportunity to kind of fall back to a secondary position here where you can defend. I like it.
Some areas will be changed for both teams.
Okay, so let's have a look. So this bit is.
Some areas will be changed.
So this is the center bit here. So she's back. This is the center bit of pass where you got all the heavy starting off going this way around, and then you got the other side going this way around, and then you probably have some people shooting across here, and then the breach is obviously down here. So let's see what changes they're doing
For both teams. For instance.
Okay, this is actually quite a considerable amount of changement. So you can see that there's two kind of pathways, and they've raised this up. So I don't know whether you can drive up these sections here. But it looks like they've narrowed down the middle section, where you've only got 1 point coming into each side. So down this bit here, or down this bit here. It looks like they've added a couple more blocks down. Overall, it's had a considerable amount of change. I can see that this section here has definitely been added more cover, and looks like a similar thing on the other side right here. So let's have a look.
We will reduce the opportunities to fire from.
So yeah, we've got a before bit where it's literally just a straight line
From and
afterwards. Wow, okay. So it looks like you can't get up here anymore. I mean, looking at the other side, it looks like you've got options to get up here, and it looks like this bit might be transverse, but you may be able to get yourself over there by the looks of things. But definitely got a lot of cover when coming up here. So you've got a nice corner here which you can use to kind of poke around, and then the guys that are the heavy TDs that are going to be camping. There's some nice bushes here to give them some concealment. I'm tired, can you not tell?
Fired up on
yes.
when leaving the spawn from both sides of the map.
Again, you can't quite see it that well, but I'm guessing you can drive over that. But look, you've got a single line here. You've got a very similar bush line like you do down here. And all in all, I like these changes. It does look like they've done a very good job of trying to reduce the lagginess of people shooting across and getting blind shots down here. So, yes, very welcomed changes.
The Studiansky map
So they're doing Straczynski, however you pronounce it.
will also be improved in a lot of ways, starting with an expansion
So it looks like they're going to be focusing around this area here, mainly the factory. So let's see what they do. So
of the factory area to make the left.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Look at the difference. That is quite a considerable change that they've done. Wow. Okay. I'm impressed. I kind of like it. It looks like you do kind of shoot over, but they've opened this area up so much. Because before you'd either, well, you'd just go down here and then you just have tanks camping here on this corner, and they'll shoot through, and then whoever fucks up the least wins. But they've kind of open this up, so if this bit here is solid like this might give you opportunities to kind of get in, depending on how this is organized down here. Yeah, okay.
Use their armor more effectively in more positions, and the village was also wider.
Okay, so they are changing the village section, which, to be honest, needed to be changed, because you get all the mediums camping here, and nothing fucking happens down here. This section isn't really used other than for the light tanks that come down the other side down here that can rush up and down. So what have they done?
And the do or die ditch will better protect.
Okay, so they've lowered a bit of ground here and made a kind of a channel, and
protect against fire from the spawn.
there we go. So yeah, we can see now that there's now a actual place for you to actually get down. I kind of like that. That little mound there has disappeared, so it looks like you can actually get down and use this. So
On Oyster Bay, the lines of fire for artillery and the position.
did you notice that? Did you notice what they changed? It was very subtle, but it's there. No, and take careful notice of the word. It says artillery. So this is a nerf for artillery.
On Oyster Bay, the lines of fire for artillery.
There you go. This rock has grown in size, meaning that artillery can now have less effect on this side map. Not that they could be very effective on that side of the map to begin with, but this is the old what's it called? Empire's Border bullshit map design again.
On
So yeah,
On Oyster Bay, the lines of fire for artillery and the positions of sniping and ambush tanks will be better balanced.
and by balanced, what they actually mean is nerfed. You're forgetting, whenever wargaming say balanced, what they mean is nerf.
With some improvements also made to their initial routes when leaving the spawn. Other maps that will receive some love are Fisherman's Bay, Moravanka, Cliff, Live Oaks, Lakeville, Ents, and Siegfried Line.
We also...
Okay, so we are getting a few more maps being added, and all of them are actually quite happy that they're actually playing dancing. So, of course, we'd love to know what's going on with those other maps, but I'm guessing we'll find out at the time. Okay, Japanese heavies. Let's have a look.
The new line of tanks under development will be very different from the current Japanese heavy tanks that end in the Type 5. The Type 71 line will look far more modern and technologically.
Okay, so looks like these Japanese heavies, they are going to be all along the lines of slightly faster, slightly weaker armor, probably better guns. They are looking fairly Russian, kind of a Russian-esque. I say Russian-esque, the turret looks kind of German leopardy. Could just be me. But yeah, let's have a look at these new Japanese heavies.
Personally, I love the look of these new tanks, even as an appreciator of big boxy straight line designs. The new tanks will combine mobility and protection and feature adjustable hydro-pneumatic suspension.
Okay, so they have they have weird suspension. They have weird suspension. They have weird suspension mechanics. Do Japanese tank skins look like? I don't know.
On the higher tier vehicles. More importantly, of course, they will be equipped with a cool new gun mechanic.
Okay, so we're getting another new gun mechanic. Okay. Let's have a look at what this new mechanic is then, shall we?
The gun cooling mechanic gives you a choice.
So it's a gun cooling mechanic. Okay.
Of either firing quicker with regular accuracy or waiting a little longer before firing and being rewarded with noticeably improved default accuracy.
Okay, so it basically affects the accuracy of your gun. I'm pretty sure that's what it was on about.
The cool new gun mechanic. The gun cooling mechanic gives you a choice of either firing quicker with regular accuracy or waiting a little longer before firing and being rewarded with noticeably improved default accuracy.
So, you can fire quicker and you'll get the standard accuracy of the tank, or you can wait a little bit longer and get improved accuracy. So it's kind of adding on a gunline drive. It took me a while to understand what he meant, because the video is not very clear about what happened. But yeah, okay. I'm not particularly excited for these tanks. Not any more than I really should be.
The cooldown time is slightly longer than the reload time. Default accuracy of these heavies will be comparable to other heavies of the same tier.
So the accuracy of those tanks would be comparable to other heavy tanks of the same tier. Didn't say anything about whether it would be other tanks like tech tree tanks or premium tanks, because we know recently that the premium tanks have been better than tech tree counterpart. So is it going to be comparable to the premium tanks or the other tech tree tanks?
with the mechanic applied to certain vehicles of the line. Combining this new gun mechanic with adjustable suspension systems, you should be able to experience a different type of gameplay than what you would normally expect from a heavy tank line. The goal for these tanks is to be versatile, fun, and not frustrating to play with or against. You will see.
But yeah, I can guarantee you that it will be frustrating to play against, because there's wargaming and they don't play their own game, so they have no fucking idea of what needs to be done to their game.
More information as these tanks head to super test during September, and as we get ever closer to their release after the British wheeled medium vehicles.
Right, I think this is probably the last bit. Yeah. No, we got a vehicle rebalance section. 2 more bits. Crew penalty removal. Right, so they're fucking around with the crew system again, because they obviously didn't learn from last time. So I imagine this is probably going to piss a lot of people off. So let's see what they are planning to change or update or do stuff. System. Can we mount katanas on the Japanese tank? I have not got a clue. But no more gaming, though. We'll release a 3D style for one of them. Probably just have a few katanas.
We know many of you have been asking for updates about what's happening with the crew since we last announced any details. Following that last announcement, we have been working hard on putting your feedback into action. We're still in early development phase, so the changes will come live in spring next year at the earliest, but we want to
so spring next year, so giving us enough time to forget about the fuck up that was Crew 2.0. That happened a few months back. Nice. We're gonna get one crew fuck up a year, because this is what it sounds like. Yeah, and that's another thing to work out.
share these important details with you now.
We will remove below 100% trained crews in order to make the player experience with crews more convenient and friendly. All crews will start with a 100% training on the vehicle they are trained in. We are aware many players have invested time and energy in their crews, especially when it comes to training them. The XP that was earned training 50% crews up to 100% will be added to the crew experience pool. This change in tank training level means that you will no longer be able to transfer crew to a standard tech tree tank that they are not trained for.
And there it is. There's wargaming actively destroying the game. Again. So you can no longer move crew to another tech tree tank. That's what he's just said.
Be able to transfer crew to this change in tank training level means
carefully.
that you will no longer be able to transfer crew to a standard tech tree tank that they are not trained for.
So, in order to move the crew into that tank, I'm assuming, because it's the only way they can really do it, without pissing everybody off, even though this is going to piss everybody off, is you have to retrain the crew that you want to move into the tank beforehand. As previously, you could stick a crew, you could stick a crew from a different tank into a tech tree tank, and yes, they would perform worse, but you could still do it. Now you can't. Okay, final section, vehicle rebalance. Now, this is a big one because there's a lot of tanks in the game that definitely need to be balanced, and I'm thinking I can think of 3 tanks instantly. Chieftain, Object 2690, whatever the fuck it's called, and the BZ-176. They are the 3 tanks that need to be nerfed. Chieftain especially, 2693E, whatever bollocks, the campaign reward tank. BZ. The BZ especially needs to be nerfed.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. And before you go on your well-deserved summer holiday, I want to assure you that we are working on a very sensitive and important topic constantly, which is vehicle rebalancing. Unfortunately, I have no information that I can share with you right now, since there's a lot of work going on and a lot of discussions, and we really want to get it right. But rest assured that in the next...
You don't have any information, but you want to get it right, but you're wargaming, and so you fucking won't. You're wargaming. You've never got anything fucking right. I'm just throwing it out there.
Next upcoming months, you will get an update on the latest development on this stage. In the meantime, I want you to hit like and subscribe so you're not missing out on any new content that we are releasing. And please leave comments and questions in the comment section.
Okay, so that is the roadmap for that's the latest roadmap update. So let's actually go to an intermission screen. There we go. A bit more more suited for one. So yes. Okay, so there's some changes in there that I do definitely enjoy and definitely like. There's some changes in there that I don't. Oh, I don't know. It still pissed me off anyway. Actually, to be honest, I'd rather listen to her than Ikeboo. So, yeah. Ikeboo just makes me fucking fall asleep. Anyway. I am liking some of the changes come in. I like the changes to do with the random events. I like the changes to do with WoT and Tron event. Murney, I'm glad Murney is coming back this year. Because Wargame missed out last year. So I'm glad all that is happening. So overall, I think that there's some good things coming to the game, but there's also some pretty bad things coming to the game, such as the crew work. Bear in mind, the crew system has just been fucked up too long ago. So yeah, and I did say I didn't want to spend too long doing this, and I spent nearly an hour going over a 13-minute video.